Assalamu alaikum, Faisal here, and welcome to the second session of the Discovering Your Mission exercises. So here we're going to cover 4 more exercises, inshallah. So let's get on with the first one. So imagine your plane crashed and you got stranded on a desert island. Now this desert island is a luxury island. It's got loads of amenities, amazing weather, there's plenty of food, water, and shelter, and there's enough people to form a small community. It's likely you're not going to get saved anytime soon due to the season, winds, and tide. And the geography of the island dictates that you have to live amongst the other people, not on your own. So there's 2 questions. How would you contribute actively to this society? That's the first question. Second question, how would you nourish yourself in this environment? That means, what would you choose to do just for yourself? Remember, the objective is to get to an 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 answer in terms of satisfaction for you. So you can pause for a few minutes, and there's a part 2 to this. Okay, so here's part 2. Now imagine you built a raft and you're finally ready to escape. But the winds and tide blew you to another island, and you instantly regretted it. At least the first island was a 9 out of 10 type of island. It was luxury. This one is more like a 2 out of 10. There's hardly anything here. It's a lot colder, but it's exactly the same scenario. You have to stay a while and be part of the community that's already there. Perhaps they're not as nice as the first group. So there's a few more questions here. How does this island differ from the other one which scored highly? What would make this environment a 2 or 3 or 4 out of 10 versus the other one that was an 8, 9 or 10 out of 10? Then the same 2 questions. How would you contribute actively to this society? How would you nourish yourself in this environment, knowing that it's not that nice an environment? So again, what that means, what would you choose to do just for you? How would you get yourself to an 8, 9 or 10 in a 2, 3 or 4 out of 10 environment? So the last question is, how would your answers be different if the second island wasn't a 2 out of 10 island, but it was just an average one, 5 or 6 out of 10? So there's a lot to kind of process there. So I would give yourself maybe 10 minutes for this one, and maybe work through the worksheet and try and get everything written before we move on to the next one. Okay, great. So let's go into the next one. So the world microphone. So I want you to imagine there's something called a world microphone. So what this device does is it broadcasts to every TV, every newspaper, every radio, every magazine, website, simultaneously, all over the world at the same time. It translates automatically to every country. Whoever uses it literally has 6 billion listeners at that time. But you only have a limit of 10 minutes in terms of what you can say. You're going to be able to use it very soon. What would you say in your 10 minutes? What is the core message inside you? Remember, we want to get to an 8, 9 or 10 out of 10 type answer. So I'll give you 5 minutes for that one. So put a timer on and you can put it on pause. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So now we've invented a time machine, and what you get to do is visit yourself, but way, way, way in the future. You get 30 seconds with them, and they tell you all about their life. What do you want them to tell you? So pause, take maybe 2 minutes, and write down what they're going to tell you in their 30 seconds, or what you want them to tell you about your life. Okay, great. So next, you have a second go, and you go back to when you're 7 years old. And now you've got a chance to influence them to live a life exactly how you envisaged. What do you tell them? Again, you only got 30 seconds to communicate with them. What do you tell them? So you can pause here. And again, another 2 minutes. Okay, so the final one for this session. Imagine you could be a superhero. You can be any superhero you like. What 7 powers would you most like to have? What would your superhero name be? And for those 7 powers, you can invent powers if you like, even if it's not realistic or if it doesn't exist. So that's the first part of this exercise. So maybe take 3 minutes, maybe 4. Okay, 4 minutes to do this. So you can pause it. Okay, great. Part 2. So 2 weeks later, you wake up and you find that you actually are a superhero. But of those 7 powers you mentioned, you've only actually got 1. Of those 7 that you wrote, which is it most likely to be? So just to clarify, not which one you want it to be, which one is it most likely to be? You can pause, take 2 minutes. Okay, great. So the third part of this is, okay, so that superpower you mentioned, you've now got it. It's yours. Realistically, what would you do with it? So that's the first part of that. And the second part of it is, what would you realistically do with it? And the second part is, what is the best 10 out of 10 thing you could do with it? So take another 3 minutes for that. And that's it for this one. So once again, complete the worksheet, write out your thoughts in full to all 4 exercises. And I will see you on the next one.